So first and foremost, welcome to the presentation. My name is Sean Kozak. On behalf of Tickblaze, I'd like to basically just bring everybody together here today to change the narrative for your trading. I think a lot of us have been kind of going back and forth here and discussing your pain points and talking a little bit about what you would want and what trading would look like for you if you were successful and et cetera. And that's really my goal here today. This is not a product launch. This is not an indicator or an algo, or this is not anything of that. We are going to talk about a methodology that has never been taught to the open public. I'm going to share with you some things about myself, and we're going to go into this, and we're going to talk a little bit about me and myself as a trader and my experience, and basically some of the things that I do as a trader. And we're going to get into some of the stuff that you guys may or may not know or what you guys should know. And we're going to go into that and we're going to roll up the sleeves. We're going to unpack some things that I think everybody needs to understand. And then we're going to go deep into my core trading methodology as a trader, as a day trader, and as a scalper. And we're going to talk a little bit about that system, and we're going to go into what we are putting together for everybody here today. And this is kind of like an open house, so to speak, guys. I'm open to you guys putting questions in the chat box. If I don't answer it, my team will answer it. If you want to stick around to the end, I think it's a good idea. We're going to be talking about things. I've got some special stuff to give away. And exactly, David, this is not, I mean, there will be a sales opportunity at the end, but I'm going to be sharing some things with you guys. This is going to be very, very hands-on teaching today. We're going to be going through some things. I'm going to be sharing some stuff that I've learned over the years, and I'm going to basically try to help as many of you get out of the situation that you're currently in, and then offer you an opportunity to work with me if you choose to. And we'll get into that. So, um, first, I want to thank you for your attendance. There's lots going on in the world, and the fact that you're here today speaks leaps and bounds to your guys' efforts to being a successful trader, and that's where it all starts. Okay. So, are you guys ready for something kind of new and unorthodox? Are you guys excited for this? This is going to be something I've never done before, but I've done a lot of events, and many of you guys know me, and you guys know I'm a trader, and you know where I come from, and many of you guys have been to some of my private boot camps. Some of you guys have been to my private events. You've watched me trade. You've traded with me. Um, yeah, I think this is going to be exciting. So, first of all, this is about prop trading. Why? Because the entire group of traders in here are prop traders. Some of you may be trading your own accounts, and that's great. But I ultimately think that no one's going to ever trade their own account unless they've either A, been very successful in sim, or B, um, been successful for a prop firm. How many of you guys would agree that you're not prepared to risk your own money just randomly anymore? Like most people years ago would just open up a brokerage account and start trading it and get their asses handed to them. But how many of you guys would agree that if you're ever going to go and open up your own brokerage account and scale a big account, 9 times out of 10, you're going to do it with a prop firm first because it's way less risk for you? Yes? I mean, I know the answer to this. I'm just making sure we're all on the same page. That's the truth. And the most, well, I mean, I have the data. I own a prop firm and I also work with thousands of traders. Um, we've seen over the years of running education, and I've built thousands of strategies, traded them, and I've seen that directional trading strategies normally work 100 times better than anything else in the industry. I mean, if you're on the right side of the market's normally going to favor the flow of your trade. You'll hit your targets a lot faster, and you'll normally won't be fighting the market. So I want to share with you something that I do. I trade for a prop firm, my own prop firm. I trade our own accounts. I have accounts. I've traded for years. I've also managed millions of dollars. I don't know if you guys know this, but I was a trade leader on Collective 2 for a period of time. I managed millions of dollars under me. Um, I've been trading for a long time, and I've learned a lot over the years. And I do consider myself to be in a different class of traders. I've not that I'm better than anyone else, but I do believe that I can trade very successfully, and I have the data and the stats to prove it. And I've been privileged to basically teach instructors all over the world. I've had the privilege of working with thousands of traders all over the world. And I've also been a systems architect for for years, building strategies and quant systems. I actually approach the market from a different perspective because I build strategies from a development perspective, not from a I need to make money kind of perspective. I'm very big on the data. I'm very big on the pattern recognition, just the actual mechanics behind what makes a system tick, so to speak, right? So when I build strategies, I'm normally building them one for myself first to see if I would actually want to trade them and actually scale them. And I take a different approach. So what I want to share with you today is my go-to. If you were to sit me down and actually say, "Hey, Sean, I'm going to give you $1 million. I want you to trade it." Not that I could. I'm not a money manager. I'm not your money manager. But let's just hypothetically speak out in tongues here. Is that if I had to have that opportunity, what strategy would I trade and why? Well, that's a pretty significant question, right? Like if I could trade millions of dollars right now, how would I do that? Right? What would I do? And why would I do that? Right? Well, I think it boils down to the same question. If you are going to go and spend thousands of dollars on a prop account and you're going to go in and you're going to invest in working with prop firms, they're not cheap, right? You're going to buy accounts with one firm. You're going to go and buy accounts with another firm, maybe use trade copiers, multi prop, whatever you got going on in your own environment. Maybe you're just trading for one, but you're just trying to scale that. Um, you need to have a strategy that is very successful. And I'm here to share with you that there's more to just the strategy than most people understand, but it is the strategy that will make you successful. It is absolutely the trading system that has to be dialed in first, and then everything else kind of gets plugged into that. Now, I've developed a methodology called the trifecta, and the trifecta is my own combination of what I've built to be a very successful day trader. Day trading is very different than swing trading or long-term position trading. Many of you guys have been in my boot camps where I've taught, longer terms charts and higher time frames. I'm a big believer in higher time frames. I'm a big believer in big picture trading. But I'm also somebody that knows that that's not always going to be the only way to trade. For myself, I am also a very active scalper and a very active day trader. And the reason I am is because sometimes it's very easy to get in and out of the market with big size, make a lot of money very quickly, and be done for the day without having to spend a lot of time processing and prepping and basically watching the charts. So it really just boils down to your preference as to which strategy you prefer. If I'm going to trade long-term strategies, I will always trade the liquidity stuff that I've taught in my prior boot camps because I know the method and I know how it works and I know how well it works. If I'm going to trade a day trading system, I'm going to be a scalper, I am going to do this. And I've never taught this before. I've never showed this to anyone. I've never done webinars on it. The reason is because I've just kept it to myself because I've always been someone that's just, I like to do things for myself sometimes. And I was talking with our risk managers over at our prop firm, and I'm getting ready to trade very, very large accounts. And I'm getting ready to manage big money. And this is the strategy I'm getting ready to trade it on. And I sat down with our team and I said, we should teach this. I said, even though I can do this, I said, we should teach this. So uh, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, essentially. If you guys want to learn what I do and learn what I'm about to do, many of you guys are going to change your life if you do this. I can promise you that what I'm going to teach you over the next hour to 2 hours or even the next couple of days, if you participate in what I'm going to be showing you, I promise you, you'll never want to day trade or scalp anything else. So there's a whole lot going on into probability mapping that many of you may or may not know. And we're going to talk about that today. How many of you guys are open to this discussion? Like I said, this isn't some big sales pitch. I'm going to share with you some things that could really, really change your life as a trader. And it took me years to learn this stuff. This wasn't just let's just put some stuff together and let's figure this out. No, like this is actually there's a method behind the logic, and we're going to talk about it. Okay. Now, it's about pullback trading. We're going to talk about trend trading. It's a pullback system, but it's not about just trend trading. Like we're going to talk about pullbacks. I have a book that I've written that is we're going to be putting out. I'm going to be giving to everybody here who participates in what we do. So you'll have a book on this. And but the stats around this, like when I trade this, I'm normally seeing 80+% hit rates. I'm easily able to get 1-to-1 or better. And it has a lot to do with how I trail my stop. And we're going to get into all that today. Okay. So I see a lot of yeses in the chat box. That's great. I know I took a little time kind of going into the primer, but let's get into this. I do need to cover disclaimers. So can you guys just read this and just type Y in the chat box if you agree to it? We can get on. Great. Now, we're going to talk about a few things. Well, we're gonna get into the meat here in a bit, but how many of you guys have been to my prior boot camps? Just type a yes. I'm going to open up the chat box so everybody can chat. I've never done this. I don't like to do this because most people are noisy in the chat box, but if you guys want to type to everybody in here, you guys can. Just change the settings if you want. How many of you guys have actually been to my boot camps? Yes? Great. You guys can change the settings and you can type to everybody if you want in here. That way everybody can see this. I would like for everybody to post because a lot of people have been a part of some of the prior stuff we've done. And that would be great. Now, how many of you guys would say that those prior boot camps were eye-opening? I guess we'd say like changing. It changed you. It did something for you in a very, very positive way. Yes? How many of you guys have been to those events and you can actually speak to that? I can't speak to everybody. So I'm only here to kind of ask the audience's opinion. Okay. Well, we're going to take it one step further because everything I've done before has not been for scalping. This is for scalping. This is for day trading. This is for very short time objectives. And the reason for this is that I want to teach you how to trade large size, be in and out of the market for quick base hits, and be able to throttle what you have probably never been able to do before. A lot of you guys have traded thinking, "Oh my God, I'm going to scale up," and then you've never been able to get there. And we're gonna talk about why that is. And so we're gonna go through this agenda, and we're gonna talk about how to do what we're gonna do, and then ultimately, once we get through this, you guys can decide if you want to spend the next couple days with me, and I'm gonna spend time and teach you this. Okay. And so let's get into it. So let's kind of talk about this. I took this approach because I wanted to teach this to you guys, mainly because I'm getting ready to trade very large size with this same model, and it's because I have years of experience with this trading system. I've sat for months with risk managers watching the market, and they always ask me, and they say, "Well, what's your go-to?" And I say, "Well, hands down, my scalping system." And yes, it is being recorded. Yeah, you'll be able to watch the recording. Not a problem. Yeah. And so let me kind of talk a little bit about this. I get emails from traders all over the world. Traders email me and say, "Hey, Sean, like you have all these strategies and you guys have built all these indicators. And what's your best one?" How many of you guys can imagine, you've probably had that question, like which one is your best one? Which one is the one that works the best? Which one would you recommend? And I know why everybody asks this because they don't want to waste time buying shit that they don't want to buy. And they don't want to invest time and energy into learning things that's not necessary. And I'm here to share with you that I understand that through and through. And it's really about understanding the logic behind system selection and why I choose this system over other strategies. Now, I've put together some things. Before we go through the PowerPoint, I'm going to share a few things. Let me just grab this here. I'm going to grab this here. Okay, can you guys see this for a second? I'm going to do this here. Can everybody see that? Let me just make sure everybody can see that. Can everybody see this? Yes? Is it large? Is it too small? Is it good? It's too small? Okay, let me do this. Let's do this. Before I go through the PowerPoint, I'm gonna, like I said, this is an educational event on top of a PowerPoint. So we're gonna do this, and let me just make this a bit bigger. Okay. So I'm gonna do some things. I'm gonna share with you what it is I do and then why I do it. It's more about why I do it. How is this? Is it better, larger for you guys? Okay. You guys good with this? Yes? Okay. So I just want to talk about a few things because if you're going to trade a strategy and you're going to believe in it, you need to understand a few things. It's more than just, oh, he said this, let's go buy it and let's trade it. Okay. First of all, it's optimized for day trading. And its primary focus is on index futures, not the S&P, not the NASDAQ, not the YM, not the Russell, all of them. There's a reason it's geared around index futures. We can still trade oil and gold on this system. We can still trade currency futures on this system, but it's geared around markets where you can assess correlation. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to get into that because there's more to just trading a setup than just most people think. And it's built around hidden correlation and identifying impulsive moves. How many of you guys know the difference between corrective moves and impulsive moves? Impulsive moves are where you capture the big explosive moves in the market, right? So I'll give you an example, right? A lot of you guys have probably traded and you'll be trading and then it'll be doing something and then and then all of a sudden it just boom, it just goes like this, right? And sometimes you'll be in an uptrend and then all of a sudden it'll start to go slowly and then all of a sudden boom, it drops, right? The strategy is designed to identify that in all of the noise and in all of the information that we're looking at. And there's a reason why it's not easy for a lot of traders to see this. There's a reasons why, and we're going to talk about that today because if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, right? If it was easy, there'd be multimillionaires walking the streets, all waving in the air. I'm a successful prop trader, but that's not always the case. Now, this is really about identifying impulsive moves around, and I'm not an Elliott wave trader, but it is about wave three rotations. I'm all about capturing the big impulse in the move and doing it with as little risk as possible. And the way that I do this is about identifying the difference between a good pullback and a bad pullback. I wrote a book on this, and we're going to talk about this. Anybody who participates over the next couple of days will get the book. I'll explain it to you during the boot camp, but we're going to talk about this. And when we're trading, if you've got two trends, right, and I'm here to tell you that let's say you have this pullback, this pullback, this pullback, and this pullback. If I've got four pullbacks in a trend, there's a very different level of odds or probability for each of these. They're independent. Every pullback has different criteria behind it. Not all of them are created equal, and not all of them you should be trading. There's actually ways to identify which pullbacks you should absolutely be going all in, throttle to the bottle, so to speak, and just going, okay, this is the one versus passing on the others. And the whole point of this is having a proactive trade identification method. It's a long word, but it's being able to know in advance why you take the pullback and what data you're using behind it to ensure that you have basically you have all things lining up for the best possible trade. Now, it is absolutely a trend following system. We will be using oscillator indicator timing for the signal queue. We have to use price action. I'm going to be using custom Renkos. You can also use range bars. You can use time charts, but there's a different way to use time charts. We'll explain that during the boot camp. We're going to be using indicators to trigger the strategy entry. And ultimately, what's going to happen is what's really nice is that everything is rules based. Like everything I do is one, two, three. If it doesn't line up, I do not take the trade. There is no subjectivity. There is no, oh, maybe it'll be like this or maybe it'll be like, no, it's like if this, and this happens, I execute without even questioning. Why? Because if everything that you're doing is done, and you've done the check marks or you've done the checkbox, so to speak, of what I'm going to show you, then should be no fear on the trade. There should be no fear on the trade because you've done all of the probability mapping that is required to basically execute. Now, I have to tell you that we're going to be using custom bars. I have a new conversion table. We convert time to Renko or time to range. I've updated this document. So many of you that have maybe seen our prior conversion document, it's different. We've used AI to be able to identify better conversions for the time to volatility charts. So what we're going to do is we're going to take time charts and we're going to convert them to range or Renko. And there's a method behind this where I'm actually using AI to do it because it's a lot more accurate and it's going to be more efficient. I have a table for you. You will not have to do this. I will give it all to you. And I can confidently say that if you follow what I teach you, you will be able to achieve very, very good expectancy. Why? Because you're not going to be taking all of the stupid trades. You're going to be taking the trades that actually have a lot of power behind them, have a lot of confidence behind them, and have a lot of data behind them. Okay. Now, why do I call it best in class setups? Because I'm actually trying to find ways to not take the trade. My goal as a mechanical systems trader is I always look to find ways not to take the trade. Because if I can line up everything properly, I'm going to be in a trade that I shouldn't have questions. Like, how many of you guys have ever been in a trade where you're still like, I hope it doesn't stop me out? Or, oh, please, please, like, just go in my direction. Or you see it go against you and you start to have fear in the trade, right? If you still have those types of emotional dialogue going on, it's because A, you don't fully believe in the system. B, you haven't done everything you can to map probabilities. And C, you're still using a strategy that doesn't make sense. And I'm here to tell you that that can change as long as you understand that there's ways to improve the efficiency of the trading system. And this is designed to capture very, very, very low noise scalping systems. As a day trader and a scalper, by nature, you're in the noise. You have no choice. You're down into the small time frames, which increases the noise. And this is the problem. Everybody knows they want to trade on higher time frames because it removes the noise and it gives it an easier market read. But then everybody goes back to day trading. Everybody goes back to the smaller time frames. And then what happens is they add an element of risk that they're not even aware is existing. And I've built a method to remove that risk, and we're going to talk about this today. Um, how many of you guys, when you're in a trade, you still struggle with trade management? Like, should I trail my stop? Should I go all in, all out? Should I take a 0.5 and then go to break even? Should I ratchet my stop? Should I go 2 to 1? Maybe I should. It's a freaking dialogue that is not easy. Give me an honest answer, guys. Like everybody in here, like how many of you guys still battle the trade exit strategy problem where it's like maybe I'll do 2 targets. Oh, maybe I'll do 1 target. Oh, maybe I'll do 1 to 1. Maybe I go to, oh my God, I maybe I'll trail my stop. Everybody, everybody. Now I'm here to tell you, quants don't have that problem. John, you're a blessed individual. Quants, okay, quants, what do quants do? And no, you don't need to be a quant. I'm not trying to turn you into a quant. But what do quants do? What do you think quants do? See if anybody guesses it. Data. Yeah, Herbert, you nailed it. Armando got it too. systematic data. Okay. So if I'm able to explain to you exactly what, where, when, how, and why you should do something, then there's no subjectivity. I am going to show you exactly where to enter. I am going to show you exactly where to place your stop. I'm going to explain exactly where to place your target and exactly when to move your stop to break even to go to a zero risk trade. I've got a methodology which allows us to ratchet the stop loss so that you can basically take very, 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 very low risk opportunities. And this is only available for day traders. There's two ways we can trade the system. I'm going to explain management. There's liberal, and then there's ratchet squeezing the stop. Liberal management will be when you at least allow yourself to take a 0.5 target before you engage the stop loss. Ratchet stop loss, or what we call squeeze method, the squeeze method, what it is if it goes in your favor at least a couple ticks, no matter what, you're at break even. You will take a lot of break even stop outs, but you will not lose money. And here's the thing, when you follow the ratchet stop loss, you capture the trades that go in your favor all the way right away, because any of the trades that go against you right away, you're out for zero risk. Let me explain the concept, okay? This is something that took me years to learn, and it can be implemented on other strategies. So I'm going to stop right here, and we're going to talk about this for a second. If I'm in a trade, right, and I take a pullback, okay, and I take my entry. If I put my stop loss here and my entries here, okay, let me ask you a question. If you could take a trade and every single time you took a trade, you had zero risk and infinite reward, wouldn't you say that mathematically that's good odds? If every single time you took a trade, you had zero risk and unlimited upside. Okay. So there's two ways that we're going to trade the strategy I teach you. And what this is, and I actually learned this from an order flow quant trader years ago, and there's a lot of data behind what they were doing. And what they were doing and what I started doing is every time I got into a trade setup, if the trade moves in my favor a certain amount automatically, 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 ticks, 4 ticks, I'm at break even no matter what. And what that guarantees is that as long as the market is moving in my favor, I have unlimited upside. If the market goes against me, instantly I'm stopped out, but I'm stopped out for zero risk. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the mathematical breakdown of giving yourself two ways of managing the stop. And the person who ratchets their stop loss is going to take a lot of break evens, but they're not going to lose money. And then when they take the trade and the trade works, their risk reward ratios go through the roof because they don't have any downside risk. And I am going to explain this in detail. So we're going to talk about this. And even if you break even for $2 or $3 and you're covering commissions, you're basically covering commissions, and then bam, you're catching the impulse, right? So there's two ways to manage the trade. And I'm going to teach this to you because it's exciting, because once you understand the power to this, you stop really caring about what the trade does. And you start realizing that the market has a mind of its own, and it's going to do two things. It's going to go in your favor right away, or it's not. And you're going to be able to make money on all the trades that go in your favor right away. And you're going to take break even on every time the market doesn't do that. And who cares if you get a break even? We're going to talk about this. How many of you guys are excited to learn this? This will open up Pandora's box for you, because but here's the thing is you need enough trades in a day. Your strategy needs to have enough trades in a day to justify this. Because if your strategy only produces, let's say, 2 trades or 3 trades in a day, and you're taking break evens on every single trade, well, you're not making any money, right? So what you need to understand is that that's the point of having a scalping system. If you have a scalping system, you're going to have a higher trade frequency. If you have a high trade frequency, we're going to show you how to have zero risk and unlimited upside. I'm here to teach you stuff that no one else is going to share with you, but that comes at 10 years of doing this. I promise you guys, this is not some normal webinar. How many of you guys are learning stuff already? Give me a yes that I've got your attention. Okay, good. So yes, this can be done on equity futures. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to teach it to you on futures because everybody here is a futures trader. But everything I teach you in terms of the trade setup can be used on every single market. It's just certain markets have a way to probability map that's different. Okay. And like I said, you're going to be primarily a day trader, but I can trade the strategy on higher time frames as well. It really just changes the trade frequency. And we're going to get into this. Okay. Now, this type of strategy is rare. I know this because I've pretty much seen every type of trading system under the sun. And the concept here is I want to teach you something that no one else has A, got the experience to teach you, and B, nobody's doing it. Like nobody on YouTube, nobody's sharing it, it really is a privilege to learn what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days with you guys, should you want to do this. And let's kind of talk a little bit about something that I think needs to be discussed. Let's go back to it. So we're going to come back to probability mapping second. Okay. We're going to do probability mapping in a second, but I want to go over some things and we're going to talk about a few things here in a second. Okay. So bear with me here. Bear with me. I'm going to I've got a big monitor. So just give me a second, guys. Bear with me here. Let's move it up. And how many of you guys are enjoying the presentation so far? It's different. I'm not trying to just go through a bunch of slides. We're going to be talking for you a few things. Okay. Okay. So I have a daily routine and it's a cleaner way to trade. Why? If you don't have routine, you have nothing. Trading needs a routine. We are going to scan the indice markets first. Oil, gold, they are independent markets. So you can just trade them based off of what I teach you how to do. And I'm going to show you this. But there's 4 markets every single day, which is an exciting playing field. How many of you guys are normally just trading the NQ or the ES right now? Tell me if you guys are mainly just trading one market right now, or just like the S&P or the NASDAQ, et cetera, right? Okay. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's actually a very bad decision. And now I know I'm going to push back on your comfort zone, but I'm here to share with you that you shouldn't be doing that if you understand the power behind market selection on a daily basis. And there's a reason why there's days where you should absolutely be trading the ES, and then there's days where you shouldn't be trading the ES, and you should be, say, trading the Russell, or you should be trading the YM. The stock indices, they have a rhythm to them, and there's a flow of funds that takes place through the indices. And as long as you understand what to do and why to do it, you're not going to want to trade the NQ every single day. You're going to want to trade the NQ and the NQ's in play. And we're going to talk about how to identify which market is in play each day and why you should be trading that market. Okay. Now, a lot of times traders are impatient. When you're scalping, that impatience goes down because you're going to have a lot of setups. The goal for you is going to be reducing the noise and choosing the right setup to trade. I am going to show you how to do this so that you're not guessing A, which market, B, which setup, and why. A lot of you guys are having a problem with patience. How many of you guys struggle with patience? Like, how many of you guys are still battling FOMO or fear of risk or not being able to sit on your hands, etc.? I'm here to tell you that you're not going to have that struggle because I'm going to give you a checklist. So at any given moment, at any given time, your brain, all you need to do is go through the checklist. If any given time you sense yourself in a moment where, okay, I'm a little uncomfortable mentally or emotionally, there's going to be periods through the day where you are going to feel that voice inside your brain. Oh, okay, I'm impatient, or oh, I need a trade. you're going to have a system in place. And what that means is you're going to pull up the checklist. Whenever you have a moment where you start to feel like you're going to deviate from the plan, you pull up the checklist. The checklist is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there a trade, right? And why is that important? Because throughout the day, your mind is going to play tricks on you. Your mind is going to basically try to convince you to take a trade or try to tell you to do something because the market's moving. And this is what happens with day traders and scalpers, is that you will put yourself into harm's way. If you follow my mechanical process and you follow the checklist, you never have to put yourself in harm's way. How many of you guys would agree having a new process would help you? How many of you guys would like a new mechanical process so that you're never going to put yourself into bad situations where you're regretting, oh shit, why did I do that again? Okay, exactly. Great, exactly. Now, let me kind of explain something. You'll be able to use any platform for this. You don't have to use Tickblaze to do what we're doing. We will go over things in general, but yeah, I mean, in the future, yes, we have some software coming out that's going to enhance this, but as of now, you can use any platform. Yeah. So my whole methodology is around identifying a pullback and identifying why I want to take the pullback versus why I don't. And this took me years to learn this. I'm here to tell you that some pullbacks will fail immediately. Some pullbacks will trap traders, and some never have a reason why you should actually trade them in the first place. They're just a pullback, but some of those pullbacks are from profit taking. Some of those pullbacks are just from hitting random areas of the market. The only way you're going to take a setup is if the data allows it. I'm going to give you the data rules because you have to have the data. Like this pullback here had data to support my entry. I didn't just take this pullback because, oh, I took a pullback. I took this pullback because 1, 2, 3, 4 things lined up. Okay, this trade is my approach. I'm allowed to take this trade. And I'm here to share with you that once you understand this, you're never going to want to trade a trend the same ever again in your life. Now, why would I want to do this on trend trading? Well, because trend trading gives you power. You're on the right side of the market. If you're trading in a range or if you're trading in oscillation or chop, you never know what's going to happen. In a trend, as long as you have the data supporting the trade, you have the market on your side. And this is what's going to give you ammunition. It's going to give you power. And I would rather 10 times out of 10 trade with power behind me than be hoping that the market moves in my favor. My targets get hit quickly, things happen quickly, and you can trail your stop, right? In events like this, I'll give you an example. In this trade, okay, I took this entry here. This was the first target, and I trailed my stop all the way up here to get my stop out here. And this is what we call ratchet management. And we're going to get into how to do this. We're going to talk about why to do this, but there's a reason behind it. Now, there's a whole lot of noise right here. There's this pullback, there's this pullback, there's this. Why did I enter here? Well, there's a reason for it. There's data that is lining up with the checklist, which I'll talk about. And I take the entry here because this was the best time to take this setup. This was the highest probability time before this impulse happened. And you're going to say, well, why didn't I take it there? There was the pullback there. There was 3 pullbacks here. Why did I enter here and then take the trade? Because that's when the impulse move was about to happen. Well, how did I know that? Because I have ways to assess momentum and I have ways to assess the market with regards to price and momentum that is going to give you an edge. And we're going to talk about that. Now, yes, you can trade this on other charts. You can trade this on NinjaTrader. You can trade this on TradingView. You can trade this on Tickblaze. You can do this. I am currently doing this manually. I am trading this manually. I am working with developers. I am in the process of building tools to be able to automate, not fully automate, but automate the tools around trend, momentum, and filters to be able to make this a mechanical process. So what I'm going to do is I am going to teach this manual process to you. And then down the future, when we are privileged enough to have tools that are going to be able to help us, I will do another webinar and we will share how to get the tools and what those are. Right now, I'm trading this manually because that's the only way I can trade it and because it's the best way to trade it. And so I'm big on performance because for me, the data has to back it up. Like if I don't believe in something, I can't trade it. And the reason for that is I like to go to bed getting excited for the morning. I like getting excited in the morning because, I mean, if I'm not excited in the morning, what the hell is the point of getting out of bed? Right? Like if I'm going to get up and trade, if I'm getting up and trading every day and I'm coming into the market with fear or coming into the market with question or concern or doubt, that is a sign that you are not trading the right approach or you haven't really figured this out yet. And many of you are still at that point, even with years of experience, even with years of education and thousands of dollars spent, you still have that problem. How many of you guys would agree? Yes or no? I know the answer, but just be real with me. How many of you guys are still in that situation? If everybody in here is not putting a yes, I'll be shocked because I'm telling you right now, you guys are all not making the money you guys are wishing you're making. I can promise you that, or you wouldn't be here. Makes sense. Now, there's a reason I like to use the indices because we're going to talk about probability mapping. Okay. Probability mapping is something that nobody does. And the problem that is that nobody does it. Probability mapping is going through a process that removes the risk from your trade. Probability mapping is done to be able to tell you why you shouldn't take a trade. If you go through probability mapping and everything lines up when you take the trade, you can at least say to yourself, I've done everything I can possibly do. Now it's up to the market to show me if it's going to give me the follow through. And I have a way of managing my trade so I can either have a little bit of risk or zero risk. It is the cleanest setups you will ever take. Why? Because I've designed it to be that way. There's two ways of filtering out the trades. There's one way to filter out the correlation. There's one way to filter out the higher time frame alignment. And when you follow those steps, I promise you, you will not be trading the NQ every day because probability mapping is going to tell you otherwise. You're going to maybe some days trade the YM. Some days you'll be trading the S&P. Some days you'll trade the NASDAQ. Some days you'll trade two of them. Some days you'll be trading oil. Some days you'll be trading gold. There'll be reasons for trading the markets that you trade. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. The goal here is to always give you the best setup. There's a very big difference between a trade setup and the best setup. How many of you guys would want to start trading the best setups and stop trading like a gambler? Because I'm here to tell you that 90% of you in here are gambling still, even though you think you're trading and you're doing things right. Hey, I get that. But there's a level of information that you're probably not paying attention to. And it's the job of an experienced mentor to show you how to fix that. Why? Because I had to learn this from people that were more experienced than me. And the goal here is about using data to fuel that decision making. Now, the trifecta system, what I do, okay, is trend and directional bias by nature. I have to identify the direction, not just on the entry time frame, but with a higher time frame. I'm only looking at putting a pullback in motion if it's a premium setup. I'm using momentum and divergence to help me identify data filtering. So there's a tool that I'm going to be using, and we're going to talk about the tools. We're going to talk about using momentum to help me identify regular divergence, hidden divergence, momentum triggers, correlation triggers. We're going to also be combining it with trend break analysis. So we're going to be talking about trend plus momentum plus divergence plus price plus correlation. And when everything lines up, you are going to have such badass trade setups that you're gonna be thanking the heavens that you learned this because there's a process to be going through. And when you do it, You're going to love it. And it's going to be easy and it's going to be fun. And you're going to be finally saying, finally, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And we're going to be using custom Renko bars or range if you choose, but Renko is what I'm using. And it's only for scalping. If you want to trade on the higher time frames, I'm going to give you the bar types to trade it on the higher time frames. You just have to know that you probably have to trade micros because most of you are trading for prop accounts. Okay. Now, let's talk about probability mapping because I want to get into this. Let's go back to this for a second. Yeah, let's go into probability mapping. So let's talk about probability mapping. It's actually more important than the system. Probability mapping is when you understand not all markets are the same at any given time. So when you think about the ES, NQ, YM, RTY, CL, GC, every single one of these markets are independent markets and they do work in tandem to each other. Sometimes they are correlated, sometimes they are not. And what we're going to do is we are going to identify the opportunity to assess when you should be trading the ES, when you should be trading the NQ, when you should be trading these markets, and why. Then we're going to move down to not all setups are the same at any given time. We're going to use data to filter the trade. Once you understand there is a way to select the best market and the best time and the best setup, you have now put expectancy and probability into an entirely different category. Now you say, holy shit, Sean, this sounds like a lot. No, it's not. If you're going to be a very, very successful trader for the rest of your life and you want to make a lot of money, you need to start thinking like a professional. Professionals would rather want to learn, okay, how do I make sure I'm trading the most probable market today? Like, why should I be trading this market? A really good and successful trader is then going to say, how can I make sure that the setup that I'm taking is absolutely the most highest probability trade I can possibly take on this market at this time? When you understand how to do this, you then have power. And when you have power, you're left with one choice. You can be a trader that chooses to trade one setup across multiple markets or trade a whole bunch of different strategies across one market. Now, here's what's happening. Everybody is doing this. This is where everybody is. This is what everybody's doing. They're trading one market. Maybe they're trading the NASDAQ or the S&P, and they're just jamming every single strategy. They buy an indicator. They buy a system. They buy an algo. They buy a tool. And they're all trying to do it on the NQ. And they trade a whole bunch of different strategies on one market. That is a recipe for disaster. What you need to learn is how to take one setup and then trade that across all of the markets and master that setup and then trade that setup in the right conditions on the right market at the right times for the right reasons. Why do you think it's going to be better? Well, it's going to be better for cognitive load. Your brain is going to learn. It's like brushing your teeth. You're going to get so good at that one setup that you are going to have a money-making process that is dialed in. Your skill is going to go through the roof because you're not flip-flopping all over the place. And you've now got an entire mechanical process to dial down how to take the trade, why to take the trade, which market to take the trade, when and where to take the trade. And you are going to get so good that your repetition is going to impress you. You are going to finally start to realize that this has been the missing piece that you've never had. And once you learn it, it will change the way you trade for the rest of your life. It did for me. I'm only sharing this because I've been a trader for a very long time. And when this all clicked, everything came into place. Everything became an aha moment. Everything was like, yep. And then when everybody else tried to tell me what they were doing, I started to identify why they were still struggling. Even instructors, even people in my companies, even experienced traders that I've watched trade, I'm still able to pick apart why they're still struggling because they're not doing what I'm doing. And what I'm realizing now is that what I've developed is the answer. It's been the secret for my success. And I can only share with you why it's worked for me because, well, I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm here to share what's worked for me. And we are going to drive this home so that you never, ever, ever have to face the market with fear ever again. And I'm telling you right now, it is going to change the way you trade. Now, we're going to look at market correlation. We are going to look at higher time frame and smaller time frame alignment. We are going to look at system selection and trade selection based off data-driven events, driven variables. Okay. And this will make you a profitable trader. Like that is a very bold claim, but I have the data behind what it's done for me. And I know that if I'm able to sit down with the likes of everyone in here, I can make you a profitable trader if you're willing to let me do that. If you're willing to let me show you how I can do that for you. And so let me show you something on the market today. So just by looking at this tool right here, okay, I can tell you right now, the probability map of all of the markets, the ES, the NQ, the YM, and the Russell. I can tell you crude oil and I can tell you GC. And by looking at correlation, I can answer the first check mark in the day. I can basically explain how I'm supposed to approach the day and why. I know exactly which markets I'm supposed to be trading and why. Right now, I can tell you that I should be heavily shorting gold, heavily going to the long side crude oil, and only shorting the Russell and the NASDAQ, and not even trading the YM or the S&P. Now, I'm going to teach you why, but that is exactly, just by looking at this for a very quick second, I already know which markets are going to be giving traders a hard time today, which markets are going to give traders easy profits today, and why. I can tell you right now that this setup right here, this trade was the highest probability setup of the NASDAQ this morning. I know why, because it follows my entire checklist. There was a lot of other stuff going on from the open. The market opened here. It traded down, traded up, traded over. This trade right here was the best setup of the day. There was other trades throughout here that we'll talk about, but this was the highest probability setup. And we're going to talk about why, right? If we look at the higher time frames, right, we're going to talk about gold and we're going to talk about why this market was great to the short side and then switched to the long side and how to trade this market the proper way. And there's a reason behind it. We're going to look at correlation. Let me just make this a bit bigger. So we're going to look at correlation. We're going to look at price plus momentum plus trend here. We're going to look at higher time frame filtering. And we're going to build a roadmap around alignment. And I am going to show you how to trade those setups. We are going to scalp those setups, and I'm going to help you become the best trader you've ever been. And I know for a fact that if you learn what I'm about to share with you, with the ebook and with the strategy sessions that we're going to put together, I don't think you'll ever trade the same ever again. You'll have no reason to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk about this so you guys can understand it. To do this, you can use Tickblaze. You don't need to use Tickblaze, but you can use Tickblaze, and ultimately you can use NinjaTrader or TradingView. Obviously, I'm biased to Tickblaze. I own Tickblaze, but I know that everybody's trading on multiple platforms, right? You can trade with prop shop traders accounts. I have some exciting news about prop shop, but I also have some exciting news about the other prop firms. We have some other prop firms that are going live in the next 2 weeks on Tickblaze, so we'll talk about that. And this type of information is not in the Tickblaze Academy. You need proper coaching to do this. Like, this is why I'm sharing this today, is because this is my stuff. Like, truthfully, I don't have to do this. I don't need to teach this to everybody. Why people have asked me, like, why do you teach? And I'll tell you why, because I actually go crazy when I'm not helping people. You say that's kind of weird to say. Well, not really. Like I was born, I'm a born teacher. Like I like to teach. I'm actually a better trader when I'm around other people. I like to be around a group of people that are all of the same mindset. I believe in having a mastermind around me. I believe in the right energy. And what I'm here to share with you is that with the proper coaching, you'll be able to trade for prop firms no problem. Like this is absolutely not going to be an issue for you. TradingView goes live on Monday, David. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. So normally uh, traders would pay me a lot of money to coach them. I stopped doing one-on-one coaching because I don't have the time. I own multiple companies. I'm trading. I work with investors. I have a very large amount of responsibility. And so from time to time, what I will do is I will put together boot camps. And the reason I put together boot camps is it gives me the ability to be able to work with all the traders at one time, make a much larger impact on our community by helping everybody. And I can do it at the same time. I also don't have to charge everybody $10,000 for my time, right? Because if you want me by myself just to work with you, I'd have to charge for that time because my time is very expensive. However, when I can do it across a large audience, I can do it for a much less price tag and I can help everybody and I can make sure everybody wins. It's a very good trade off and it allows me to do the same thing. I can basically help everybody. I can basically work with the community that's willing to learn and I can do it for way, way, way less cost to you. How many of you would agree that that makes sense? Instead of charging you 15 grand, I can charge you pennies on the dollar and I can still teach you guys the same stuff that I would normally try to trade somebody 15 grand to teach, right? Does that make sense? So before we go into pricing, how many of you guys would like to work with me? How many of you guys would like to trade with me for 2 days? I can teach you my core trading system. I can show you everything that I'm going to do. And I'm going to give you the rules, the mechanics. We're going to talk about it. How many of you guys are excited to want to work with me? Yes? It's going to be over a couple days. It's not just some hours. It's a couple day process. Okay. I see a lot of people. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to share the cost and then we're going to go into questions. Okay. So normally for me to do one-on coaching, it's about 15 grand. Okay. Give or take the exchange rate. Okay. I am going to do 2 live coaching and education sessions here. So they're going to be over 2 days. 2 days jam packed. Okay, so we're going to have education plus trading. We're going to do it for 2 days. We're going to do education in the morning, and then right after we're going to do live trading, or maybe we'll flip flop the other two. It's going to be several hours each day. It's going to be a few hours each day. Why? Because I only need a few hours each day to do this. It's not going to take you, what's really nice is this type of approach is not going to take you days and weeks to learn this. This isn't some very complicated process, but it is a process that will require learning. I am going to teach you the futures framework and the trifecta framework. I am going to show you how to ratchet stop management. We're going to talk about liberal management and we're going to talk about how to remove risk completely. And this is going to be worth every single penny that you spend. I can promise you this is going to change you. It changed me and it's made me the trader that I am. And I'm going to give you everything. I've already built the playbooks. So I have an ebook that I've built for everybody. So everybody that's coming to this event is going to get a custom ebook that I've built. I've already built the desktop and the layouts for everybody. So you'll be able to do this. So you don't have to worry. Everybody's going to get the desktops. It's already pre-built. Everybody's going to have it. You don't have to do anything. And you will get access to all the recordings and all of the VIP resources that we do inside of this. Okay. Now, we will talk about XLT later. It's done later. We'll talk about that. This is not really applied at this stage, but we'll talk about that later. Now, the discount's only available for the first 25 traders. If you're not coming in under the first 25, your price is going to go up. So you're going to want to make sure that you put in that order now because the coupon codes are going to expire or the price will go up. If the system checks that you're not within the first 25, it's going to become more expensive. I think it goes up a couple $100. So just make sure that you get in and you actually buy quickly because it's only for the first 25 traders. The classes are going to be held Monday and Tuesday next week, David. Monday, Tuesday morning next week. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is this layout I've pre-built for you. So right here, we're going to talk about this. Let me show you this. This is the trifecta down here. So I have a trifecta workspace. We're going to go over this. And then down here, there's a flip and rip. So there's two workspaces I've built for you guys. One is the trifecta, and the other one is the flip and rip. The difference is the settings between the tools that we're going to be using. So one is momentum and one is pullback. So we're going to talk about the two. I've got an ebook for all of the trifecta systems. And if we have time, we're going to talk about this. The flip and rip is only on the ES and the NASDAQ. And the trifecta is on everything because it really has a lot to do with just understanding the market and the market that we're trading at that time. Yeah. So everything will be a part of that. And you are all going to get this. Let me see here. Let me just make sure. Make sure I open you. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. You are going to get this. So everybody here is going to get this. This is going to be the manual that we follow for the boot camp. So this is going to be the manual around divergence, around trend, around all of the momentum filters that we use. There's a lot more going on than divergence, but divergence needs an educational aspect to it alone. So I have a boot camp on divergence. So I'm just sharing with you that that will be a part of it. So you will be learning some stuff around divergence and filtering using divergence. But we're going to be going into conversions. I've built a document that you guys are all going to have around converting the timeframes. It's completely different than what you guys have seen in our prior docs. So be prepared to learn about the new fractals. And yeah, so let me do this. Let me pull this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a poll because this is me doing this and I need to make sure I have everybody's attention. Um, I need to know if you're coming and you're buying. I really need to know this because I'm running the event, which means I have to actually make sure that I know how many people are to plan for this and how many of you guys are coming to this boot camp because this is a pretty big deal for me to actually stop everything and basically teach this. So I have to make sure you guys get the events, the links, all of the resources. I have to email you the desktops, all of that stuff. So can you guys put in the chat in the poll if you guys are purchasing, please? I just need to know. It's for our team to be able to make sure we provide you with the right resources. Guys, I'm telling you, this is going to change you. I know that many of you may not be uh, well, there's going to be an extension to it, Matt, if people want it, but you're gonna have trust me, you're gonna see. It's gonna open your eyes. Yeah. Michael says I can't see the poll, but you're coming. Okay, no problem. So yeah, so ultimately, and for those of you that are trading prop accounts, I'm going to help you map out the right risk around the 25K and the 50K accounts. Couple things. So let me share with you guys a couple things. So let's talk about this for a second. Number one is next Monday. Okay. So I have some really exciting news. Okay. While you guys are filling out the poll, please put in the chat box if you'd like to speak to Jeff about this. Yeah, no problem. So let me explain a few things. Next Monday, big day. So let me talk about this. Okay. Monday morning. Okay. So Monday morning, mark your calendars. Monday morning, next week, you're going to be doing day trading with me. And then you're going to be doing education with me. Okay. Then right after this, we launch the Tickblaze web trading platform with TradingView. Okay. And plus Prop Shop Trader, our prop firm, is launching the premium it's launching an all new premium account lineup. Biggest payouts since the inception of the company. Let me explain this. Last week, for all of you that were in the Prop Shop webinar, we launched payout accounts. These are the light versions. The payouts are smaller, right, on those accounts. Next Monday, we launch Forge accounts on the 25K and the 50K accounts. They are more competitive than Lucid or Tradeify accounts. They are going to be the biggest payouts the industry's ever seen, all the way up to $3,500 weekly payouts. I'm telling you right now that everybody in here that is trading futures is going to want to buy these Forge accounts. Why? They're the biggest we've ever done. So last year when we ran big prop accounts, many of you guys bought prop accounts last year with PST when we had the big payouts. And then we added equities and then everything kind of changed. Well, next week we unleash the Kraken. No pun intended. We are going to be releasing an all new set of accounts. I'm telling you this why? Because on the same day as the Bootcamp, you're going to be able to get the Tickblaze web trader and you're going to be able to get the all new prop accounts. You'll be able to make weekly payouts. You'll have payouts. These are the biggest payouts in the industry. Like you can compare them with the top 5 futures prop firms in the world: Apex, Lucid, Tradeify, MyFunded. We have these accounts will be the best that we've ever launched in the history of Prop Shop Trader. You guys can go do your own research, and I can promise you that when you do the event, you're going to see. Okay, so I'm here to share with you that I would really bank on saving the money on spending for the accounts, because what's going to happen is you're going to be able to get the bootcamp, get the new web platform with TradingView. The web platform's free, by the way. You don't need to pay for it, right? So that's exciting. But if you want to trade prop accounts, hold off on buying prop accounts until Monday. Why? Because you're going to make a whackload more money on your payouts. It's the biggest event we've ever launched in the history of the company. Since the inception in May of 2025, these payout accounts are going to be so big that we're going to have every single influencer pushing these accounts. I can promise you that right now. How many of you guys are excited for that? Like I'm telling you, you can make up to, I think, $12,000 or $13,000 on one account in sim payouts. Everybody in here is going to be pumped about this, but we're doing it strategically right after the boot camp, right after the launch, right? Yeah, exactly. So I'm telling you, this is going to be an impressive week. Okay. Don't worry, David. You can keep the accounts you have. You can just buy the other ones. We're not discontinuing them. You can still keep the payouts on those accounts. It doesn't matter. You can still buy the new accounts. Yeah, not a problem. Don't worry. There's no changes. Those are going to be considered the light version, and then there'll be a toggle on the website for the new accounts. So we're just launching the premium. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the way I trade. So the Trifecta system, it's currently discretionarily. It's a discretionary strategy. Okay. So we're doing manual entries. So I will be teaching you how to trade this manually. Next week, right? You will learn this and you will be a manual trader. Okay. But I have to tell you that in the next coming weeks, we are currently developing a way to build indicators to hopefully make it more automated, right? It's not, some things are not easy to code, right? And so what's nice is that everything you learn manually is going to be beneficial for you, because then when we release the indicators, you'll really benefit, just like me. Like I'm trying to figure out a way to code it, right? And so but the goal is not an automated system. It's not a fully automated system. Okay. So yes, Robert, if you get called to live, you'll still be able to get the new accounts. Not a problem. Yeah. So how many of you guys are excited on this? Like I've got a lot of people that are saying yes to this boot camp, Can you guys fill the poll out? I've only got 40% of you have participated in this poll. I really, really need you guys to fill out this poll. Why? Because it helps me deliver the resources. It helps me deliver the bootcamp education. It helps me deliver the desktops, the links, etc. I know you guys, for those of you that have already purchased and signed up, great. But for everybody who hasn't, if you're having a hard time, just send an email in. Pete, can you do me a favor and put your email in here? The poll never stopped, Steve. It's still open. If you're not seeing it, maybe just your browser. It might be just your. If you're purchasing, just put a yes in the chat box. Yeah, yeah, perfect. If anybody's having an issue with purchasing, just email support, right? And yeah, perfect. And for all of you guys that have purchased already, great. Like I see a lot of you guys have purchased. Great, that's great. Great. I'm glad to have you guys here. I just want to make sure that we get all of the polls answered because what's really cool is that I'm going to, after we're done the day trading, I will show you how to do this on other assets. So once we're done the boot camp here, what I'll do is at the end of this, I'll reserve time so that I could show you how to apply this on higher time frames and on other asset classes as well. Yeah. Yeah, this boot camp is a one-time purchase. Once you learn it, you'll have the videos. You won't have to rebuy the boot camp. It's not some there's no hidden gimmick here, guys. It's that normally people pay me a lot of money to do coaching. I can't coach one-on-one anymore, so I reserve them to boot camp so that I can help everybody. And anybody, when we do release software, David, yes, of course, we'll give it discounts on the indicators when they go live. Yeah. Yes, everything's recorded. We'll give you all the recordings, VIP training, everything. So even if you can't be there during the day, you'll get the recordings, so you're not going to miss anything. So if for whatever reason you want the information and you can't be there, just purchase it and we'll send you the recordings. Not an issue. Yeah. Sometimes that's just as good as being there live, right? Right. Yes, you can claim us as a tax deduction for education. Yeah, depending on what you're claiming. I'm not a tax advice, so don't quote me on that, David, but education or a business expense is anything you do under your business is a business expense, yes. Mhm. But I'm not a tax accountant, so don't quote me on that, right? Yeah. The Tickblaze platform is free. For those of you that are wondering, it's free. And what's nice is that next Monday, would you guys like to see the all new web platform? Would you guys like to see that? It's coming live, guys. Would you guys like to see the web platform coming live next week? Would you guys like to see that? This is the new TradingView Tickblaze web trader. That way you guys will be able to trade on the desktop application. So let me show you this. This is the desktop application. And so you'll be able to wow, there was some really, really good trades on this leg up on the NQ. Yeah. Um, Give me a second, guys. There was some really, really good trades in this market, but the YM, it's interesting. You'll see here, like the YM is very unique, and this is a great example of not all markets are created equal. We'll talk about this. It's very, very unique. I can't wait to share with this stuff with you guys because it's exciting. Yeah, very uncorrelated markets today, and that's the whole point of knowing which markets you should be trading and why. We're going to talk about that. Yeah. Let me get the web platform ready here. So bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Just give me a second, guys. Can you guys just fill out the poll for me while you guys are waiting? I'm going to get the web platform ready for you. 1 second. Let's do this. I just want to log in and show you guys. Next week is going to be a super, super exciting week for everybody. For everybody because of the platform, the new account launch. It's going to be exciting. I'm just going to see here, make sure that the link is working. Okay, let's check it out here. Interesting. For some reason, my email. In a second here, guys. Maybe they're doing a push on the update. Let me double check here, guys. One second. So I'm just asking the guys here on the logins, guys, just please put any of your questions here while we're waiting. So let's see the questions here. So, okay. Yeah, I know I'm not sharing the screen right now, David, because I'm waiting to do a web demo, but I'm just waiting to see if they push an update to the web to see if I could showcase it. Yeah. So for those of you that answered yes, that you're coming, great. Thanks. For those of you to put a callback in here, great. So thanks for that. Um, thank you for that. I'm going to double check here, guys. Just bear with me. I'm just trying to see if I could log in on the. Mhm. It's not letting me log in yet, so give me one second. I may not be able to showcase it. I may not be able to do it. Maybe, Brian, maybe there'll be an extended learning path as well. Usually every boot camp. Let me just logging in here, guys. I just wanted to show you a demo, guys. If you guys want to put in the chat box, just any questions, great, no problem. There will be an XLT planned. Yes, there always is. You only need one monitor, Mark, for this. You only need one monitor for that. No problem. Sharpshooter, yeah. I'm going to try one more time here, logging in. Let me see here, other questions. No, six monitors are not overkill if you like to trade on multiple monitors. Let me see here. Going up, I'm just going up the questions. The web platform is going to be different than the desktop. Yeah, it's using TradingView infrastructure. Can you post the links again in here again, Pete, for people that didn't get it? People are asking for the links. Great. Let me just keep going here. I'm just checking with the team here to see if they're pushing. an update for me to be able to log in and show you guys because it's not live. I may not be able to showcase it. I know it'll be ready. Is the web-based system that is TradingView? I guess it's more than just trading with your account. No, so TradingView is TradingView. We have our own web platform, and we're using TradingView infrastructure. So we have our own Dome Trader, Chart Trader, modular layouts. Everything will be based off of that. Um, yeah. And you'll also be able to connect to multi-prop. It's got built-in trade copiers. I'm just checking with the team here. The back end team was pushing an update. No, Joe, that's a good question. The platforms, any platform like us, TradeC, Project X, Crypto.com, any of the exchanges, they're using PineScript infrastructure from TradingView. And what's happened is that we've built a wrapper that allows us to bring C sharp indicators into ours. So we'll be the only platform in the industry that will be able to bring in C sharp indicators into TradingView's infrastructure, external of TradingView's main platform. So it's going to be a pretty big deal. Yes. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to help me here, guys. They're just checking. The guys were doing a back end update with the code infrastructure, so I was hoping that I could do a web demo, but I'm fingers crossed here. They're just checking, so appreciate your patience. The most of the presentation's over. I'm excited to be trading with you guys and to do the boot camp. How many of you guys are excited? Yes, you'll be able to trade on TradingView with PST. That's uh that's yeah, C sharp. That's a very cool. Yeah. So hey Randy, great. Yeah, they said they're on it here. If you guys are willing to stick around for a few more minutes, hopefully we can show you a demo. If not, hey, no problem. It'll be live Monday. For those of you that would like to stick around, just give me a few more minutes. Hopefully they're going to be able to fix the problem here and we can show you a demo. It's not live yet, so technically that's the issue here is that we're still pre-launch. So yeah. Monday, David, Monday. So when we launch the new accounts, the new Forge accounts, Monday, you'll be able to trade on the desktop, the web, everything, all using TradingView. Yeah. So Joe, in order to convert PineScript into the platform, it would need to go through a code wrapper. So right now, the code wrapper supports C sharp indicators coming into Java. It doesn't support PineScript. We do plan to evolve it though. Yeah, we do plan to evolve it. Yeah. We're the only web platform in the industry that has a wrapper that allows custom scripts to come into the TradingView. Because normally by default, all you do is get whatever TradingView provides in the drop-down list. And we ultimately have the ability to add all of the marketplace indicators. So we're going to be adding like Striker, One and Done, Trend Breaker, all of the sexy 3BPTs, like all of that's going into the web. Like we'll be the only web platform in the industry that has that. And that's next level. Uh, C sharp, I'm not sure yet. Yeah. Let me see. Are you finished with the day trade scalping? Yeah, Mark, we are. I'm just waiting for our team to ultimately, anybody here that doesn't want to stay any further is fine. I just wanted to do a demo of the web platform for next week. And we got hundreds of traders in here that are interested in seeing that. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, yeah, just waiting for them to push an update. They're just pushing a whole bunch of new prop features like trailing drawdown and lockout and a whole bunch of cool stuff. I just wasn't sure if I could show it to you or not. I was hoping so. Yeah, not a problem. Will the Tickblaze indicators, I'm not on TradingView. What do I need for platform? You don't have to be on TradingView, Brian. So let me explain this. We are launching the Tickblaze web trader, and it's using TradingView charts. So what that means is you don't need to purchase an account with TradingView. You don't need to do anything else. As long as you're a user of a prop firm, Prop Shop Trader or the other prop firms that are coming on very shortly, you'll be able to use it. You don't need to pay. And if you're a Canadian, doesn't matter. You can still use Tickblaze, no problem. Yeah. Yeah. Can you bring in C sharps to one's own charts, John? We're still checking on the actual abilities of the code wrapper. It really just depends on how we can bring the infrastructure in on the marketplace. Uh, for what? Do we need a specific indicator for what? Mahmoud's asking for the boot camp. No, they'll be native into the platform, and the other indicators are free inside of the Tickblaze community. So what's nice is that all of the probability mapping, you won't have to pay for any extra tools for that. The oscillators we're using are public domain; they'll be open. It's the system and the process that you're really paying for in terms of the system. You're paying for my time, you're paying for the system, the process, etc. Yeah. Yeah, you won't need to buy any other special fancy tools. And I've already pre-built the layout. So let me show you what this is. So let me show you what you're going to get when you come next Monday. Let me share my screen here for a second. So what you're seeing here, and so what's going to happen here is there's two workspaces essentially. So there's the trifecta on the 5 minute, and you'll notice here we've got the ES, the NQ, the Russell, the YM, crude oil, and then gold. Okay. And then ultimately on the right hand side here, what you're seeing, okay, let me show you this. Let me just grab a cursor here. This is our higher time frame chart. And what this is going to do is it's going to tell us how to trade this time frame. Up here, you're going to see I've got a bunch of Renkos, and these are each market. So I've got the ES, the NQ, the YM, the Russell, crude oil, and gold. And over here, this is the Asia session, this is the Euro session, and then this is the European session. And what's going to happen here is ultimately you can trade every single session with this system. What's going to happen here is that once I teach it to you, it's really about like you'll see like I take trades in the overnight session, right? I take trades here. And ultimately down here, this is a trend meter. This is free. This is a trend meter here. This is free. This is the MT filter. It's inside the community scripts, so you don't have to worry about that. And ultimately, over here, you're going to have a correlation tool. This is our leaders and laggers tool. And what's going to be nice is this is going to help us filter the trades. Really, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching you how to use the higher time frame to understand what to do on the smaller time frame. And then we're going to use custom RSI settings. So we've got the RSI, but I've tweaked it And what we're going to be doing is I've tweaked it to read certain types of momentum signals inside of the pullbacks. So that way, when we're looking at this data, you can ultimately basically trade the right edge in those markets. So, but you're not going to be just trading every single market. Like some days you're going to trade the YM. Like right now, the YM is absolutely a short market. Like you should be absolutely shorting the YM. And this market here, this market's produced some killer trades. Like, I mean, yeah, I can't wait to show this to you guys. Like, we're gonna go through this. Let me just show right off the open. And the open was pretty messy. Like, take a look at how sideways this market was. It was super, super sideways, right? It was very, very messy open, and then it dropped, right? And yeah, you can sign up, Arthur, after. Just watch the replay. We're going to be sending it to you. Absolutely, right? But realistically, like the gold market's been the weakest market all day, and the crude oil market's been the strongest market all day. So when you look at like correlated strength, like crude oil is has been strong since yesterday's open, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's strong since the US open. That's the key, right? Like it hasn't been the strongest market since the US open. It's been the strongest market since the Globex, but it's not the strongest market since the US Open. And that's the difference about understanding correlated markets. So when you look at correlation, this is setting from the US Open. And we need to look at correlation from essentially the starting point of the US session. And yes, I'm on Pacific time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And technically, like if you look at these markets here today, the YM, even though the YM is stronger here in terms of correlation, the actual YM is in a very strong downtrend on the higher time frame. And so it's about understanding, like, you look at the Nasdaq. Like the Nasdaq was in a very strong downtrend, but it's pushed up, whereas the YM is showing correlated weakness. And so this is really, really important for us to understand the difference between these asset classes because in a weak market, let me explain this. The markets are weak today, very, very weak, which means by default, selling is going to be most likely more evidently higher probability than buying. And we're going to talk about how to identify that and which markets you should be trading versus not. And we're going to talk about that on Monday. Make sense, everybody? Unfortunately, guys, I don't have an answer. The guys are not able to open up the web platform. I thought I could give it to you, so that's an unfortunate. I wanted to show it to you. It wasn't planned, obviously, so I know I'm kind of throwing them under the bus, but um, yeah, we're going to be launching that on Monday. It can be traded any single time, any single day, any single session. Absolutely, David. It can be traded every single market, every single session. Yes. And the goal, right? The goal is about identifying why, when, what, where, and how. The other thing, too, I want to mention is we have a couple big prop firms launching on Tickblaze in the next couple weeks. We have some pretty big prop firms launching. And so um, get ready. There's going to be a lot of big prop firms that are going live on Tickblaze. You're going to be a part of those launch events. We're going to be announcing these big events, right? Um, yeah, we've got some pretty big prop firms launching. I'll give you the names of two of them. We've got Elite Trader Funding, we've got Blue Sky, potentially Legends, potentially Funded Next. So there's a bunch of really, really big prop firms launching on Tickblaze. So a lot of you guys are going to have the ability to be trading on multiple prop firms coming into the Tickblaze infrastructure as well. So that's going to be exciting. But okay, guys, I'll see you Monday morning. Can we put the link in here one last time, Pete, so that you guys can make sure that there we go. Perfect, guys. And once again, I tried to do the web demo. I just couldn't get it. The guys are pushing updates on the backend server. So it'll go live on Monday and everybody will get access to the playlist and get everything you'll be able to learn and trade on. It'll be really exciting. Perfect, guys. All right. Well, I will see you guys in the next event. Take care, traders. And I'm looking forward to trading this stuff with you guys in the boot camp. Take care.